What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fantasy Goods. I'm Joshua Lipinski-McHale, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 of my top rookie wide receivers that you need to be targeting later on in your drafts. So make sure that you like and subscribe because I'm going right in. So this year's rookie class was viewed as one of the deepest wide receiver classes in years. But I'm just not seeing the love for these wide receivers the same way I am their rookie running back counterparts. But this could be good for you, as you might be able to get some value in the mid to late parts of your draft if you know who's worth picking. Now, the first rookie wide receiver I'm targeting in this year's draft is Henry Ruggs III. He was the first wide receiver off the board this year in the NFL draft at number 12, and it was definitely due to his wide receiver threat ability, which the Raiders have been void of for years. I could see this kid becoming the number 1 receiving option in this offense early this season, and if Derek Carr can get the ball downfield to him, he could do some real damage. Now, he's 6'1", 190 pounds, and ran a 4.27 40-yard dash.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? You want to see me do it again?
So I know John Gruden is chomping at the bit to draw up some plays and schemes for this speedster. He does have a pretty difficult schedule for wide receiver in 2020, but he's going to get so much volume, it doesn't matter. I'm talking easily 100 to 120 targets. And that's fantastic volume to get where he's going, as his ADP right now is 122nd player overall, which means you could grab him at the end of the 10th, beginning of the 11th round. And to me, that's insane, because I think this is a guy you could put in your wide receiver 3 spot and forget about it. And he'll even put up some wide receiver 2 games or better sometimes this year. So I'm targeting him in all of my redraft leagues, and I wouldn't even be ashamed to say I'm reaching for him a little bit. And I think you should too. Now, the next rookie wide receiver I like is Jalen Reagor. Now, the Eagles surprised a lot of people by taking this guy in the first round over Justin Jefferson.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And to be honest, I still hate this pick. But in terms of fantasy, this guy is in prime position to be fantasy relevant this year. Reagor's 5'11", 197 pounds, and he ran a 4.47 40-yard dash. So he's a decent-sized receiver with some athleticism. But again, this is another rookie wide receiver that is going to get a huge target share almost immediately. Now look, I know Zach Ertz is the leading receiving option on this team, but somebody else has to get targeted too, right? So the Eagles started off the offseason with what appeared to be a track team, but since then, those passing options have done nothing but dwindle. You have Alshon Jeffrey, who's most likely going to start the year out on the PUP list again, which means he's out for the first 6 weeks. Next, you got Deshaun Jackson, who had his stupid spat up on social media, which means he's skating on thin ice with the organization. And finally, you got former Olympian and speedster receiver Marquise Goodwin, who's decided to opt out of the 2020 season due to COVID-19. So with all those receiving options either being on the hot seat or out indefinitely, that'll put Reagor in a great spot to get plenty of looks early on this season. And he's already rumored to be utilized in many ways in this offense, from the obvious deep and crossing routes to even being utilized in jet sweeps. So with his ADP being the 5th pick of the 12th round right now, he could definitely wind up being a steal, and I absolutely think he'll wind up outperforming that ADP. On to my third rookie that I think all of you are sleeping on right now.
That is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen.
Michael Pittman Jr. And I love the value you get on this kid. He's 6'4", 223 pounds, and he ran a 4.52 40-yard dash. And I think he could be the safest bet at all rookie wide receivers in fantasy this season. Now, he is a rookie wide receiver, so we'll have to see what his role commands in this offense, but I think he's in a great spot where the Colts have one of the best offensive lines in the league, which is going to give their veteran quarterback Rivers plenty of time to throw the ball, a solid stable of running backs to keep defenses honest, and a number 1 wide receiver who draws double coverage, which means that Pittman could be left in one-on-one coverage where I think he could thrive. I feel like this guy could be Phillip Rivers' new Keenan Allen.
Like, bro, ain't nobody just running with me step for step like that, bro. Like, come on, dog.
I mean, just look at his numbers in his last season at USC, where he had 101 receptions for 1,275 yards and 11 touchdowns, which shows you that this kid could handle being targeted a lot. We just have to see if it'll translate to the pros. Now, his ADP is 159th overall, which means that he's available in the early 14th round, guys, which to me is just wild, because I could see this guy being a solid wide receiver 3 flex option, and I would take him sooner rather than later, guys, because I only see his stock rising up draft boards right now. Next, going at the back end of the 14th round with an ADP of 167th overall, is San Francisco's first-round rookie wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. Now, I feel like this guy could turn into one of those diamonds in the rough. And to me, it's nuts that he's still going this late in drafts. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds, ran a 4.5 flat 40, and the thing I like about him most was he had the biggest wingspan in the draft at wide receiver, measuring in at a crazy 6'9". Now throw on top of that his 40-inch vertical jump, and I could just see this guy being a QB's dream to throw jump balls to. Look, I know the guy to own on this team right now is George Kittle, but with Deebo Samuel being out till mid-October or even later, that leaves this starting wide receiver spot open to competition on this roster. And I think Ayuk can take it from guys like Kendrick Bourne, Dante Pettis, or Trent Taylor. I think he's better than all those guys. And if he thrives the way I think he could even wind up keeping the job when Deebo comes back. So this one's a no-brainer for me, guys. At the end of the 14th round, if I want a wide receiver, this is the guy I'm taking, hands down. Now, the next wide receiver that I would be talking about would be Denzel Mims. But if you want to hear more about him, you could watch my Jets video. But for my final sleeper in this video, I'm going to go with a guy that most of you guys haven't heard of because no one's even drafting him, and I have no idea why. Have you heard of Chase Claypool? Because if you haven't, you need to look into him. He's another guy that's 6'4", 234 pounds, and he ran a 4.42 40-yard dash with a wingspan of 6'6" and a vertical jump of 40.5 inches. In his last year at Notre Dame, he caught 66 receptions for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, guys. And even though he was taken by the Steelers in the second round, he was still their first pick in this draft. Look, I know if you look at the depth chart today, it has James Washington listed above him. But this guy is built to take that other outside spot to Juju. And then you'll see Johnson most likely hop in the slot and Washington kind of fade away into that fourth receiver role. But I can absolutely see it happening by mid-season. This guy to me is what DK Metcalf was last year to the Seahawks. And you see how well that worked out for them, where he came out of nowhere.
The fucker came out of nowhere.
So if I've convinced you and you want to roster him, I'm pretty sure he'll be there for you at the end of your drafts in the 16th round and about 99% of all drafts, because right now his ADP is laughably 257 overall. So you could stash him for when he breaks out, or at least put him on your watch list, guys, and scoop him off waivers when you're ready. But keep an eye on my Notre Dame boy Claypool. Well, that's all the rookies I got for you today, guys. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you guys want to see on the next video. Just leave me a comment, all right? And don't forget about our free jersey giveaway. You can find all the info to enter on our social media pages for the Fantasy Goods on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're giving away these jerseys once we hit 500 subscribers, guys. So don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. But that'll do it for me until next time. So we are the Fantasy Goods, and we got the goods.